All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Flights here on the Sota Pod YouTube channel. Back here with our friend Seth Topol and Nick Lewis. What's up, guys? How we doing?
Great. How are you?
Very excited to get into these flights. Hoppy and I, we always have a good time doing them ourselves, but bringing in guests, friends of the show. I mean, it's going to get crazy, guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And Hoppy, let's get right into it. What do we got on tap?
Yep. Draft today. Topic is best single game performances and draft order predetermined. We're going to go clockwise starting with Seth. So Seth, Isha, me, Nick, and then we snake back. So Seth,
right.
take her.
I got to go Wilt, right? 100 points in a game. I feel like that's a good starting point because nobody's done it since. And what was the closest? 82 by Kobe?
So 82
81,
yeah.
81, I believe.
Yeah. So a ways to go to get there. And he had a bunch of other stats in that game too. But 100 points is the one we care about.
I mean, that's true. He was playing essentially against a bunch of people like you and me. So maybe not as hard to get 100, but that's all right.
He was also a lot more like you and me.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what were shoes even like back then?
Oh, boy. Probably not great.
No.
Ouch. Yeah, no, that's a good point. No, you get into the triple digits. I don't care what era. Like, that's still just unbelievable because you don't even see like XM, like guys fresh out of the NBA going to street ball, putting up 100 points in a game. Like,
Love it. Good pick, Seth. Isha, pick one.
All right. Well, my basketball one wasn't taken, but I think I'll change it up here, and this is on brand. But I will go with when Matt Serra beat George St. Pierre for the welterweight title in the UFC in the mid 2000s. That was the biggest underdog win in mixed martial arts in all the promotions at that time. He was the plus 850 underdog. George St. Pierre was the champion, minus 1300. And no one gave Matt Serra a chance because he actually went through the reality show, The Ultimate Fighter, as their first gimmick season, where they had like a bunch of UFC veterans go through the show, the reality show, and the winner, instead of getting a contract, got a title shot. So Matt Serra was 9-4 at the time against GSP, who was 13-1, 26 years old, in his prime. Matt Serra goes out there and bullies him. Knocks a TKO in the first round, knocks him down 3 times. Matt Serra is a jiu-jitsu guy, and he beat up George St. Pierre on the feet, who is at the time and still regarded as the most complete mixed martial arts fighter of all time. So I think that's one that went down in my books. And to just steer, give another unique sport pick here.
I mean, I'm fine with the pick and all the context you gave, but that could have been your very last pick, and none of us would have fucking touched it.
No.
So just a little bit of draft strategy would be.
No, I think I'm good.
Because you're only going to pick fighting. You motherfucker. So I'm actually not going to pick my number one because my number 3 on my list is one that will absolutely get sniped by Nick. So again, the draft strategery. And it's probably not even one that you take with your first or second, but this is like the coolest one for me in the NFL. It's the snow game in 2009 where the Patriots absolutely dummied the Tennessee Titans. 59-0 win. Brady, 380 yards, 6 touchdowns. Randy Moss, 8 catches, 129 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And I particularly remember this one because I got 78 combined fantasy points just out of the 2 of them for that week because I had both of them stacked. So that was a fun one. And it's a snow game. That just makes it so much better.
That game was unbelievable. It was on my list, so you were smart to take it. And it was pure domination the entire game.
Love it. So you got double duty now, Nick. You got 2 picks. What's your first one?
I do. So I'm considering staying on topic for Tom Brady as long as you brought him up. And I will stay on topic.
Are they all Tom Brady picks?
Because I have to. No, it's not. You already brought it up. I'm doing another Tom Brady game. We'll go back to February 5th of 2017. You may remember at one point the score was 28-3. And that is not how it ended. Tom Brady ends with 466 yards. The Patriots end up winning the Super Bowl. Greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. We haven't seen anything like it. We won't probably see anything like it again. And he does only throw 2 touchdowns in that game. The first half, he was mostly atrocious, but it didn't matter. What is remembered of that game is it's a Tom Brady comeback. Yeah. Huge Super Bowl win.
It's the circumstances for sure, too, that it was the comeback and everyone thought it was done. And, of course, Barstool has just dragged that shit through the mud.
Yeah, there is that. It's forever a meme. It has followed Matt Ryan around forever.
He thinks it's funny.
And you kind of have to at that point. The Vikings comeback, even that, the Vikings outscored the Colts 28-3 in the actual largest comeback in NFL. So that score just doesn't seem to escape him. And it was I was incredibly drunk, but I think it was one of the happiest moments of my life at that exact moment, but I also couldn't register it. So that will be my first pick. Second one, what do you got?
Going off of that, just because of Brady's most recent love interest.
Yeah.
Is it his biggest comeback? If you're familiar with the Chris Pratt cameo.
Yeah. Everyone loves a good comeback story, right? Seabiscuit, the Mighty Ducks.
Robert Downey Jr. Who
Rocky.
else? Yes.
Kim Kardashian.
Well,
in the video she gets cum on her back, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and
all right,
move on from that one. Unbelievable, but I do like the reference. Let's venture back to November 4th of 2007, where a rookie running back, Adrian Peterson, goes for 296 yards against the then San Diego Chargers. We barely kind of knew who this guy was at this point, and all of a sudden, everyone knows who he is. Rookie breaking an NFL record that still has not been touched. How do you top that? Outside of what everything else, what other people are going to say, I guess. But that's where I'm going next.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
That
one was definitely higher on my list, but son of a bitch. All right. My number one pick that I was worried Isha would take, I didn't think either of you would, but for the most impressive single game performance, we're going back to March 2nd, 1993. Mario Lemieux records a goal and an assist. Pretty big game, right? That's a pretty good game for Mario Lemieux. Well, it's because that morning at 7:30 a.m., he had his 22nd radiation treatment, came back from 23 games missed, and was able to do all that. He wore a turtleneck for the game because he had like radiation scars on his neck that he had to cover up. Unfucking believable. And the only time ever Philadelphia scumbags stood up and applauded.
I think that was probably the biggest surprise was the ovation, especially being in Philly. But the fans here were great to give them that type of ovation. And
I think any moment that you can get Philadelphia fans to not look like complete jackasses is pretty impressive.
It's a notable accomplishment.
The only one. It's literally the only one.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a great one. I'll stick with the hockey theme as well. I had like 4 or 5 Canucks moments on here. But I think one that stood out, and if we're going single player, because I don't think the Sedins count as a single entity here. They're both,
it doesn't have to be one player.
Okay,
it's the game. It's a single game performance.
I think this will resonate a little bit more with Minnesota fans anyways, because we have a common hatred towards this team. But year after year after year, the Canucks, President's trophies, up there's the best team in the National Hockey League. They get to the first round of the playoffs, and who's there to slay them every single time? That is the Chicago Blackhawks. Man, in 2011, when Alex Burrows in overtime slayed that motherfucking dragon, and the Canucks went on their run to the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, that was one of the greatest performances, by not only Burroughs, but like just heart and grit from that team. And that, like, as a Canucks fan and also as a Chicago Blackhawks hater, that is, etched in my mind and my heart as one of the greatest, one of the greatest sports moments of all time. Everyone's just nodding, by the way. So
yeah, I mean, of all of the Canucks things you could have gone with, that one's definitely a surprise, but it's a good one.
Yeah, there's a lot, but
and yes, fuck Chicago.
So I've got back-to-back, right?
You got double duty.
Okay. So for this one, I'm leaning on the definition of impressive a little bit. In Ron Burgundy fashion, I'm not even mad. That's honestly impressive. Tony Snell on February 24th, 2017, played 28 minutes and did not register a single stat of any sort. Nothing.
Yeah, all right.
And I got to tell you, to be able to do that in an NBA game, you've got to be trying. You got to be trying to avoid the basketball at all costs, to not pick up a steal, a rebound that just happens to deflect to you, like just off of somebody. So props to Tony Snell for literally doing nothing for 28 minutes in an NBA game. That's impressive.
See, that's one that like probably more than half, but like a good amount of people will discredit you for that pick. But then there's a bunch that are going to just pick you because of that pick. So yeah. That's good.
If I had something that I was shooting for in terms of like, hey, if you played in the NBA, what's something that you could do? That's it.
Yeah.
That'd be it.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. If I had 28 minutes in an NBA game, what I could do, and that also might be it.
Yeah, just being there. My next pick is from a gentleman by the name of Randy Holt, Los Angeles Kings, all the way back to 1979. Dude racked up 67 penalty minutes in a single game. Got called for 9 penalties, including a triple game misconduct. He fought twice in this game, and that stands as the long-standing record for most penalty minutes in a single game. And frankly, I don't think it's going to be touched.
Okay.
Because referees back then were evidently lunatics. Best part is that after all the penalty minutes were tallied up, Holt told the referee, he said, well, your math is terrible. So that's my third pick.
God damn it.
You've gone off the board on those ones. I mean, creative approaches.
I like it, yeah. All right. Isha, which fighter are you picking for your third pick?
No, I'm going with Michael Jordan on this one. March 28th, 1990 against the Cleveland Cavaliers was a notable game for him and goes down as one of the most notable games for Michael Jordan. I know, like, didn't get triple digits in that one, 64 points, but he carried that team. And, there've been, I don't think like ESPN like specials just on that one, but if you go on like YouTube, if you go on various NBA or basketball like content creators and media outlets, like that game in particular, and obviously I wasn't even born when that aired, so I was like, doing my research for this, wanted to find something basketball related. Michael Jordan growing up was like my hero when I was watching basketball with my dad and my cousins, and looking up that game, like it was him and everybody else. Like that was right before, they really started to pop. And that's when he was the one who was leading the charge. And that game, like, it's crazy to see, a single player, especially back then when basketball was a lot more physical, just like no one could touch him. And even when they did, he just bounced back. And that was just one of the craziest games I've ever seen.
I like it. Okay. So I am also going with Michael Jordan. I had 2 different games that I liked more than that one. And I'm going to be more like Seth, because November 15th, 1996, the greatest basketball movie ever was released. called Space Jam. And he single-handedly saved all of the Looney Tunes and prevented them from being slaves to the Monstars.
That's going to be mine.
I've never seen someone stretch their arm like that in my life. But sorry, spoiler alert if anyone has not yet seen this masterpiece. But I don't know. That has to be one of the most impressive single-game performances I've ever seen.
Amazing cameo by Danny DeVito too. I don't know what the name of that like ringleader of the aliens is, but
yeah.
I don't remember what his name is either.
Yeah.
Phenomenal work by Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
You know, I think what we learned in that movie too is Michael Jordan as a coach, incredible. We can get Mike's secret stuff. It's just water, but everyone just believed. That it's amazing stuff.
I think it was just like a bunch of crushed up, sprinkled Adderall in there.
Probably. It could have been. We have no idea.
There's a fighter right now who's massive for his division whenever he weighs in, and he goes on stage with the water bottle that just says secret juice on it that he writes in felt just to fuck with the commissions.
That's what we like.
And now he has like, clothing brand and like an energy drink called Secret Juice, and everyone's just like, oh my God. The Looney Tunes did it first.
Simpsons did it first.
Wow. All right. There's a lot of good stuff left.
There's a lot of really good ones left.
A lot of good stuff left. I will go with, let's see, I've gone Tom Brady. Then I went Minnesota Vikings. I will stay kind of homerish here. We'll go back to the year of 1991. A pitcher named Jack Morris goes 10 innings, which doesn't happen. And even more unlikely in these 10 innings, the Twins win the World Series. Are you kidding me? Like that, technically, it's happened once in my lifetime. I was 1 year old, but since then they've done absolutely nothing. A pitcher going 10 innings is unbelievable. The game
is illegal today, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. You can't go more than 3.5 innings before they're like, I don't know. We might need to start switching them out. Going 10 innings, shutting out, and winning a World Series, that is unbelievable, especially in a Game 7. That's special. That's cool stuff.
A great pick.
Do I have another one?
Yep. This is your final pick.
Oh my goodness.
Choose wisely.
All right. Wow. Let's go. Vikings legend Brett Favre. The year is 2003, and his father had just passed away. And he throws for 399 yards, 4 touchdowns, a 154.9 rating. He absolutely lit it up that day, and this is a day after his father dies. That was one of my first core memories as a kid watching sports. I was 13 at the time. My stepmom was a huge Packers fan, so we had the game on. Really fun to watch Brett Favre then become Vikings legend. She didn't know that. We didn't know it at the time, but unbelievable performance, and I will wrap with that one.
Very good list. Very good. All right.
I wish I knew more about the NFL, so I stayed clear of that. I knew you guys would bring those picks to the table.
Fair. I'm actually surprised Isha didn't take this one, and maybe he forgot about it, and he's probably going to kick himself now for not taking it. Because I kind of get to double up on 2 incredible performances in one game. The year's 2009.
No!
And we have the dueling hat tricks. Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin both score a hat trick in the same playoff game against each other.
I'm running down on this power play. They must do something. The shot is deflected, scrambled, score. Pittsburgh gets a power play goal. It's going to be the captain. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Caps get over the line to pass to Kozlov. Score! What a great play by Kozlov. Despite you-know-who coming up. And it's tied 1-1. Ovechkin scores again. Guerin waits. Threw it over there. Crosby scores! Sidney Crosby at the net again. And it's 2-1. They win the face-off. Here's Ovechkin. Scores! Ovechkin scores right away. And the Caps are ahead again. And here's Ovechkin. Coming in, one-on-one, the shot, score! Oh, baby! What a shot! Are you kidding? And the hats are flowing down from this capacity crowd. My goodness. And Kunitz was right there with the open side and couldn't score. Crosby took another one by Crosby, another by Crosby, scores! Get it again, bang at it, somehow, beautiful. It's the Ovechkin-Crosby show tonight.
What would you be saying about the performances that you and Sid put on this evening?
Sick game. If I was Capitals fans, I will be very happy right now.
People are entertained by that, but at the end of the day, as a player, you want to win games.
It was absolutely electric. That's probably the best single hockey game I've ever personally watched.
Yeah, that was going to be my last pick. That was an incredible game.
And again, you could have just used that earlier and said that Michael Cera was your last pick.
Yep.
Yeah. But I do have another hockey one, and I think this one is very good as well.
I'm talk through honorable mentions, by the way, guys, because there's a lot of good ones that
I know a lot of good ones.
I'm going with Paul Henderson for the Canadian national team. As in the Summit Series, he defeated the Russians and he got a last spot on the roster. He was like a mid-level NHL player, gets on that team and has a hell of a tournament. But in that third and final period, Phil Esposito, he got to play. He pretty much sat out the whole period. But in the final minute, coach put him in. Phil Esposito recovered the puck, sent it towards Henderson, goes in front of the net, doesn't score, catches the rebound, and that iconic Henderson, Canada defeats the Soviet Union. I mean, the welcome that he got, seemingly going from a nobody, in the 70s playing professional hockey, going to instantly a Canadian hero upon returning to Toronto and doing a tour in Montreal and Eastern Canada. I mean, Paul Henderson now, shit, man, they're probably going to put him on our dollar bills instead of the Queen now, I imagine. One of the greatest, not only hockey calls in history, but one of the best moments that is, especially in Canada, that's in probably top 5, Canadian, hockey moments in history.
I'm so pissed off right now. I just see the look on Seth's face and I'm so upset.
My final pick, I'm going to go with the guy that sent the 1991 World Series to Game 7 with his walk-off home run, Mr. Kirby Puckett. Also had a pretty darn good catch earlier in that game, but it's the home run, the iconic "we'll see you tomorrow night" call, iconic Kirby Puckett.
That is a great pick. I am not at all shitting on that pick, but God damn it, we are all going to get fucking roasted for not picking Miracle.
Well,
and Isha most because he goes with that pick instead.
Well, I'm Canadian.
As soon as he's like, oh, the legendary call. And over the Soviets, I'm like, no, oh my God. What did I do?
I'm Canadian. What did you expect? I'm obviously going with Henderson.
Yeah, dude, you're going to get a ton of votes for that pick.
I don't expect to get too many votes going into these playing with you guys.
Now, in my defense, I will say I didn't approach it as a team necessarily, so
sure.
I wouldn't have ever taken the Miracle. Now, why others did not, I don't know.
And maybe that is how it's going to be viewed.
It could be. There is, if we go through honorable mentions, we did miss a lot of them, but there's also a lot of impressive stuff.
Look, these were all great, but Nick, go ahead and lead off with 12 different Tom Brady picks that were missed.
You could just go through all right, year 1 he did this, and then year 2. I was going to end with Randy Moss, Thanksgiving 1998. 3 catches, 3 touchdowns, 163 yards. That's pretty damn cool. We left Kobe's last game off. That's impressive.
Yeah. There's so many in the NBA to choose from. It's insane. It's you could go through every team and historically, there's someone no one talked about anybody who played for the Detroit Pistons. There were some iconic games there. Celtics, like you said, you could go down any the NBA and find like iconic moments. So for me, like I definitely kept it like single player, single athlete as well. Like I had Patrice Bergeron back in 2013 when the Boston Bruins came back in Game 7 to beat the Maple Leafs. They were down 3-0 in the series as well. And in that game, I think he got 3 points, 2 goals, and oh man, and they came back in that game too. It was a 4-1. Kadri scored the 4th goal, I think in like late second or third. And yeah, Bergeron just like lit it the fuck up after that. And that one was incredible.
I was going to dive into some Shohei Ohtani because we always get those tweets of like Mike Trout went 5 for 6 to raise his average to like 480. And Shohei Ohtani did something we haven't seen since Dennis Oil Can Boyd in 18-14. And the Angels lost 9-2.
Yeah.
I couldn't settle on just one. He's had a couple of games this year where he shut out a team and he hit 2 home runs in the same game. Like
that's very nuts.
It's too much to try to narrow down.
That'd be the beauty though. You could just put Shohei Ohtani and everyone would like find their own Shohei Ohtani game that they think you're talking about and you'd get the vote. But
dude,
I juggled Space Jam versus Flu Game. I wasn't sure which one to go with there, but Space Jam just felt right.
Just leave the Flu Game. All good. Space Jam is far more impressive.
I'm pretty sure Luongo had to leave a Canucks game one time to go take a shit, and then he came back and he still won the game. He had the flu mid-game as well.
You could go with the Paul Pierce performance then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wheel it up because you poop your pants and come back and finish the game. That's impressive.
That is fair.
Not just anybody could accomplish all of that in the span of one game.
No.
Tony Snell sure didn't.
Wasn't it Luongo that had to like leave the game, take a shit, and then come back? I'm asking Isha because he's the one that would know. And he's frozen.
I think he's frozen again. So
nice. Let's talk shit about the Canucks then until he comes back. Oh, there he is. So I also considered a couple pander picks on Isha just because they're either people he likes or it happened to people he doesn't like. The Kobe game where he put up the 81 points, 55 in the second half is just fucking bonkers. And he did it to Toronto, which is all Isha ever fucking cares about. And Yari Curry, 1990, Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals against the Boston Bruins, 3 goals and 2 assists, and that was after Gretzky was traded away, which is just fucking bonkers. I had a lot, obviously, more hockey. There were some crazy single game ones, like Patrick Laine, 5 goals on 5 shots in one game.
I'll never do that. Oh boy.
And Isha's gone.
Yeah, he's just
this is
gone.
Perfect.
Yep, he can't handle it. You're just ripping on him too much. You had to leave.
I'm sorry. He needed to be ripped on.
Yep, that's true.
No one's going to know who 3 of his picks even are.
No.
Know who Michael Jordan is.
Yeah, that's about it. And then he picks the weirdest game possible.
Yeah. Look at that. He's back.
Oh, welcome back.
Thank you.
If you're Joey Chestnut, who clearly will be watching, how are you feeling about this right now?
I considered Joey Chestnut.
Yep. I mean, that's
I probably should have.
That's it's disgusting, but it's impressive.
Yeah, that's.
I'm waiting because as soon as Phil Kessler retires, he's gonna absolutely dummy Joey Chestnut.
That'd be great.
Which major was it that Tiger Woods won by like when he was in his prime? There was one of them that he won by like 12 shots, wasn't there?
Yeah, and he was young at that point too. I'm fairly like. Really
I didn't know if that would like count because it's like they play for like 4 days kind of thing, like it's a tournament. But I wouldn't have fought it. I just wasn't gonna go with anything Tiger because I didn't know how it would be viewed.
Yeah, there was some match play event that he played, and his playing partner like shit talked him before it started, in saying that he thought he had a chance because Tiger can't hit the driver straight, and Tiger beat him 9-8. Like it was a dismantling. So I could have put that one in there.
You could have. Like we left a lot out, but
yeah,
I think we got good lists.
Oh yeah,
I think the lists are solid, so we'll run them down. Seth, what were your 4? And if you don't remember, I can certainly remind.
Wilt, 100 points. Tony Snell, absolutely 0 stats in an NBA game.
Impressive.
Third pick was
Third pick was Randy
Holt. Randy Holt was 67 penalty minutes in a single NHL game.
2 more would have been great.
The name too, Randy Holt. It just sounds like he should have been in Goon or Slapshot. Like, just fits perfect. And then final pick was Kirby Puckett in Game 6 of the 1991 World Series.
Nice. Isha, if you are with internet and you remember your picks, what were they?
I had Matt Serra, Michael Jordan in his March 28th game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Alex Burrows, 2011, slaying the Dragon against the Chicago Blackhawks, and then Henderson in the Summit Series.
Out of order, but those are all correct. I had the infamous Tom Brady, Randy Moss snow game, which is the one where I kind of went more team focus against, what Seth and Nick were talking about, which is understandable. Mario Lemieux, the game where he literally had radiation that morning. Then we had Space Jam, Michael Jordan saving the Looney Tunes. And to you guys' point, he deserves credit for that coaching job. Mm-hmm. And then the dueling hat tricks game, Ovi and Sid both getting a hat trick in a playoff game against each other. Pretty nuts.
That one was so awesome.
I will say my favorite pick is definitely the Michael Jordan saving the Looney Tunes. I just know that's otherworldly.
It's got my vote.
Literally.
It has mine as well. But I'll run through mine. We started with the Tom Brady / Patriots 28-3 comeback in the Super Bowl. We followed that up, I believe, with Adrian Peterson rookie season, breaking the all-time NFL single season rushing game. Or I messed that all up. All good. You guys know what I mean. We went into Jack Morris in the 1991 World Series, going 10 innings, and then we wrapped it up with Brett Favre playing lights out the day after his father had died.
I predict that Nick will win. I think
Jack
it could
Morris,
be like a pretty good battle, but I think Nick's going to come out ahead.
Well, I have
Morris
2 homer
10.
picks. Yeah. So that's
You also have an anti-homer pick. You picked Favre.
I did, but Vikings legend, and people used to like him. He wasn't as.
How could you not love the guy that basically threw a ridiculous interception that stopped you from going to the Super Bowl?
Because that's how Brett Favre works. You live by Brett Favre, you die by Brett Favre. He was fun to watch because he'd do stupid stuff, and then he would do stupid stuff off the field as well.
How many times are they going to reference Brett Favre in the Hard Knocks with Rodgers going over to the Jets now?
Over under 37.
That's a you motherfucker.
It'll be.
I'm mad that I didn't catch that quicker.
There you go.
Substantially more than that.
Oh, man. Well, for everyone watching this, let us know your picks as well in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.